Yeah. Incremental greetings. So today I'm going to react to this video from Foul in the Supermemo wiki channel. I think it's the very last video from him that I watch. There's also the overall Foul's course to Supermemo, which it will be the last video I will shoot, by the way. But I have seen those videos already. And this is about Supermemo priority for beginners. This is not part of the course, by the way. Priorities are also in his course. So I don't even remember if I watched that. But I will add my 2 cents. And in case it's the case, I consider it's useful. I will also consider something unrelated to priorities that is shown in the video, because I already see that he's showing the sorting criteria and all of that. So let's start.
So this video has been brought to you by the Supermemo wiki gang. So in today's episode we will
No one uses this, by the way.
see how
It's closer to the cult than a gang, by the way.
you manage prioritization. So first question, like this is a common misbelief people get when they start using Supermemo. They think that they can first thing learn everything. Like they think they can learn an entire encyclopedia.
Yeah, like to read and memorize everything in Wikipedia, for instance. Even if you had 1,000 lives to go through that, and 1,000 times the capacity of a human, you will not achieve that. And also, it's not something that it will be useful either.
Okay, but spoiler, you can't. This is the first thing, the first rookie mistake we have to avoid. So the problem is,
That's why priorities are there, to manage the information overload. If there was no information overload, priorities are okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's just about the order I see the staff. That's it. Priorities is what I postpone, what I skip today, and what I actually do. Because I don't have enough time. So I want to get the most value first.
oftentimes when you start learning with Supermemo, you are obsessed with finishing your outstanding queue. Many days you will not be able to get through all your topics.
Not many days. Never. Once you import enough material, you start the ball rolling in Supermemo, you will never finish your outstanding queue, especially for topics. But that's not the goal. You don't have to zero that number, ever.
Maybe through all your items, but not through all your topics. That's usually very difficult. And how do we solve the problem that if we're studying for an exam, we're not going to see what we need to study maybe?
If you study for an exam, you're not doing incremental reading. Strictly speaking. That doesn't mean you have to neglect priorities, by the way. You're gonna still use priorities.
So how do we approach that? How do we make it possible for us to not suffer from this, right? Because if Supermemo is showing me topics that I do not care about for my exam, what's the solution? So the first solution would probably be
Salsa review is one of the ways that you can neglect priorities, regardless of where it is in the collection. Just show me the material, the elements within this hierarchy, from this branch, and everything that is inside it. If it's short enough, no need to make priorities, but you have to manually navigate each time in every branch. This is only useful for exams.
Subset review, which is not what we're gonna talk in this video, because the subset review is like more of a patch. So it's like a quick fix. It's not a long-term solution, because every time you would have to start your subset learning. And since interleaved practice is a thing, we would very much like to see our main material interspersed with the other material we're studying. So a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of, I don't know, anatomy, a little bit of physiology, a little bit of...
He said interspersed, not interleaved. It's not the same thing. At least in Supermemo, intersperse is a feature. So you could have like a subset. You save this to a file, and you have your standing queue. I have done this, by the way, in a video about how to read a book in an hour. So basically it's this flow. I want to see one element from the book I want to read, then two elements from my outstanding queue, another element from this book, a few more elements of my outstanding queue. So I interleave this in a very microscopic, very fine, granular way. Every 2 or 3 reps, I'm changing subject. I do this interleaved practice. This is interleaved. Intersperse is how I do generate this order of the reviews, the repetitions, based on 2 different subsets. So the subsets are interspersed, but the practice is interleaved. Not the same thing.
Macroeconomy, okay? But how do we do that? So today I'm gonna show you. So first thing...
The music is so distracting. Yeah, dummy collection. Okay. He has just one topic, that is the root element, 4 topics and 4 items. Cool. So overall 9 elements. So roughly 11% of the priority queue each element is representing.
Look at them at screen. I created 4 topics and 4 items. Of these 4 topics and these 4 items, we didn't set the priority. There is literally a...
You didn't set a priority. That doesn't mean the element has no priority. Supermemo will decide one for you. That's it. Since this collection is very small, the jump will be massive. If now I create yet another new topic, it would be it could be 60, 90%, something like that. Because just one jump in the queue will be 10%. And the percentage of any other element is changed because it's expressed in percentage. When the collection is big, 50,000 and 50,010 doesn't make much difference. It will be very in the some decimal points, the difference. But when the collection is so tiny, especially below 100, it's super massive. But it's a good way to make it more obvious how priorities work.
Function called priority in Supermemo, and it's gonna solve all our problems. So let's say that A, B, C, D are topics, random topics, or that are in alphabetical order of importance. So the A topic is the most important one, and the D topic is the least important one. So we go Alt P.
Again, the music is way too loud. Alt P is one of the ways, not the only one. And here already, in this case it's useful because you can see what is before and after, But since there are so few, it's super easy to understand in this case. That, okay, what is the next? The next one is the concept, is actually the root element, the video. This also has a priority, by the way. And I'm pretty sure that the next one is 100%. Why? Because it's dismissed. Usually when you dismiss an element, it goes to the end of the queue. He only has one. So it makes sense that the only one is the last. The only dismissed is the last, and the last is 100%. Because also remember that the priority, the value is the other way around. It's like counterintuitive. The highest is 0, and the lowest is 100. And then we have the previous one. In the queue, it's B. It shouldn't be like that, right? Because the last one, we want the D. Then the C, the B, and the A will be the highest. It's not well set, accordingly to what we want, by the way.
And we see that this bar here can allow us to change the priority. So you can't really set a big range. Like it's quite a fixed range because we have 8 elements total. And
no. Yes, the reasoning is right, but you don't have 8 elements. You have 9 elements. Because this 8 is the number of children, but you also have to include itself.
This collection, as you can see.
He's cropping this. But look at this in the stats window. Total 9 elements. Easy. How many are dismissed? 1 element. And pending, 0. Even if it's dismissed, it still has a priority. It will be really close to 100. Here, for instance, I have 50,000 elements, and I have a few thousand dismissed because I applied done. There will be not 100% because only one can have 100% because it's a queue from the first to the last element. So if I get the last 100 elements by queue, there will be 99.99%, 99.97, 0.95, they're consecutive, but they cannot have all of them have the same value. Because each position is unique, it's a queue.
So it's like 12.5, 25, 37.5, and so on. But
it will have been nice if he goes to view and click on the priority queue. It will be a lot more visual. If he doesn't do that in the video, because I really didn't see it, I will just do it on a dummy collection myself.
We can still prioritize the right things. And this is how you do it. The lower the number, the higher the priority. So 0, even if this is a little bit unintuitive, is the highest priority. Okay, and so here you see the position in your queue. And here you see the interval. Do not touch this stuff. So we go OK. And we set B as, let's say, 25.
In this case, since he only has 9 elements in the priority queue, in the collection basically, it will be a lot easier to just use the position instead. But usually you will use the percentage. Why? Because your collection is ever growing and growing. So the absolute position doesn't say much. So let's say, in this case it's number 3, and it's 25. And I keep importing articles above this, so the second position, let's say. And then I do the extracts. The extracts will be, again, on this priority range. Higher priority than that. So this priority will be keep changing and changing. So still, the percentage could be the same, especially if it's the other way around. That everything that I import is of lower priority, lower than 25. What's going to happen is that I will have more elements, let's say 500, oh now 25% of 500 is not 3. It's 125. So the position is shifting, but the relative position is the same. So keep this in mind.
Say Alt P as.
By the way, I will wait to see what he says, but this method is not really the best one to set the priorities, especially if you have an order already.
75 and D as 100. So the least prioritized it.
Nope. The least was the dismissed one, the video. So now, because he put 100 in the D topic, the video could be the second last position. In this case, will be 87%.
Item topic. Let's do the same with items. So we go 12.5.
Extremely efficient. Use positions instead, and you open this to the browser. You sort by the order you want. In this case, it's itself. You set priorities by the order. Boom. In 2 clicks.
37.5, 62.5, and 87.
Do you see that when you type the number, it also updates the position?
And 80.
80-something% is the position 8.
87.5. Okay, so now that we set up
Because he doesn't have 8, he has 9.
our priorities, what are we gonna do? So we're going to quickly add everything to the outstanding queue, but we need to see if our sorting criteria are on. So the priority decides when something is going to be shown to you, but only if your sorting criteria are well in place. Because if you have a randomized collection, you will not see the topics.
More than randomized, I would say arbitrary. The priorities have been set arbitrarily. Because the user is neglecting priorities. Priorities will be set regardless. It's just that the number doesn't mean anything. It could be a lot higher or lower than what you want. But Supermemo will still set priorities regardless. So the number is arbitrary, not random.
And items in the order of priority. So we're going to check our sorting criteria. Sorting. So you go on learn, sorting criteria. And let's look at this. So it's quite easy actually. So prioritize items and topics. What does it mean? If we take this to the extreme left, we're gonna have a queue that's completely based on priority, and I'm gonna show you how. This is how many topics you see every item. So here, not many, here, a lot. So let's say I don't want not many, here, a lot.
Not just a lot.
So here, not many, here.
Not a lot, all of them. That means that Supermemo will only show topics to you that are outstanding. And only when there are no topics remaining, there are no more topics remaining in the queue, Supermemo will show you the very first item. So it's first topics, then items. If you go to the maximum left, will be the opposite. First items, items, items. When there's no more items left, then topics. Then you get a graph right away when you change priorities, the ratio. The maximum to the left is religiously priorities, very strict, which doesn't make sense if you don't prioritize your collection. So if the priorities are arbitrary, and any setting here won't make any difference, by the way. And to the right is the maximum randomness. Here it's random, not arbitrary. That's the key difference, by the way. And it's temporary, because could be that the priority is well set, it's just how I'm following this priority is random. But as soon as I modify the settings, it goes same as before, following the priorities. But if I have the priorities arbitrarily chosen by Supermemo, this is fixed. If I change my sorting criteria, whatever, the priority of that element stays the same.
A lot. So let's say I don't want any topics before items, okay? And I do sort now. Then I go to my outstanding view, and I see that they are indeed sorted by priority. So,
are you sure about that? That's what I meant. In this case, because he manually added everything to the outstanding, in this context, the outstanding queue and the priority queue are the same. Not exactly. The outstanding, it's everything but the concept. He doesn't have the concept element. I cannot see it here, it's cropped, but just based on the number I know. And how is that? It's because it's dismissed. The concept element is dismissed, and a dismissed element cannot be outstanding.
it's obviously.
This is wrong, assuming it's A, B, C, D. I don't know what he meant to do. But assuming it's like in the knowledge tree, he had A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He wants this order, or the other way around. So you start from the lowest. So the A will be the lowest. And going up will be the number 4. And the reason for this mismatch, among other things, by the way, is when he set the priority by percentage instead of position. Because this will have gotten the next up or the next down, but also when you move this priority, you are affecting the other ones. If I set the position number 2 here, that means that what was before the second position will be changed. And because of that, the third will also be changed, and the fourth, consequently. Everything that goes after that will be changed. You can think this is a kart racing. Negra, necesito un poco de silencio, por favor. So imagine in a car. So imagine in a car racing. So you want to overtake the second one, right? The priority was the second position. Cool. And I am, let's say, the orange car. It's the only one that is orange. And I overtake all of that, and boom, I set it to the position number 2. So the first one is untouched. Still is the first element in the priority queue. Then I become the second one. This car, the orange, becomes the second. But hey, this blue color was the second. It becomes the third. The third with the British flag becomes the fourth. The Italian flag here becomes the fifth. So I'm affecting all of them until this position, my original position. That means that my car behind in the priority queue and everything behind this is untouched. Is the range from the starting position to the new position on the queue. Can be to the front when I increase the priority, or could be to the back when I decrease the priority. If I do set a lower priority, will be the same thing in a different direction. Let's say I want the last car that is seen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. Then those 4 cars will be affected as well, not just this one. So all of those 4 cars are also shifting 1 position in the queue. And since I have used decimals, I'm not precise. If I do, like he wanted to do 12.5, hey, it's not the exact precise number. Then instead of the orange one, I got the black one, or the previous one.
I have. You should. Okay, we have too many. Wait, we have too few.
Okay, I think he's clueless. He's not going to do that. Okay, so then I will do it for real. Kind of surprising, but yeah, it's a lot easier than it looks. So let's start a new collection. Nice. I just call it priorities. So let's do it like this. New topic. This has a priority. Now it becomes the first one. I will call it A. Again. A. Now this became the first one. So what happens with the A? Now it's the second one. And the root is the third. Nice. Then the C. So do you see that every time the one that I create is always the first one? It becomes the first. Now I want a new item instead. And again, it's always the highest priority. That is 1. That's because the limitations, how you create those elements straight away from the knowledge tree. This is not, it's kind of deprecated. I'm not going to focus on this video, but just to let you know. So this is messed up, right? This is now messed up. It's exactly, in this case, theoretically, in the opposite. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's exactly the opposite. So look what I mentioned before. I open this, I click on the parent, control space to open the contents. It's the exact opposite order. No worries. I don't want the concept. So I click here, the checkbox, and now this icon. I do a subset of the folder without this one. Nice. Then, if I sort by priority, it's the exact opposite, right? What order do I want? I want the order by 3. How do I get down the order by 3? I cannot get it, right? DCBA 1 to 3. It's not exactly this one. I can get it once again. Child. So I click the first icon, sort, and sort by 3. Here you go. Now I have this type from the order I want, and I want this to be by priorities, followed by priorities. It's as easy as the second icon, process browser, then priority, adjust. And in the spread I would say minimum 0 and maximum 100. Let's see what happens. Step 1. Yes, in position 1. It's not what I wanted. It is still in the opposite. Let's do it again. Priority, adjust. And check this in proportion. I went from 0 to 100, position 1 to 9. Again, uncheck this box, and here you go. Now is the exact what I wanted. Not exactly. Look at this jump. There's one missing here. Why? Because there's one element that is not included. That is the concept. But since it's dismissed, in practice, it will have the same effect regardless. So it is as easy as this. It may have seemed like it's long because I talk and I go through all of the details, but I will do it in real time. Look how easy it is. He did every single time, Alt P, the position, oh no, sorry, he did the percentage, one by one. Compare this to what I'm doing now. That's it. And I will click OK. As easy as that. And here there are only 8 elements. If there were 80, 8,000, 8 million, it will be the same process.
And items to show, but we do it again and just increase the randomized.
When you do not have enough topics and items, the degree of randomization will obviously be less. Yeah, because the pool is narrower.
Proportion, and it didn't sort it. Wait.
Yeah, so he's doing super random now. The only thing that he is sorting is now the proportion of topics, not the priorities. So if it's set to the left, means, hey, give me first the items. He has first the items, so it's as expected.
Okay. So as we were saying, if you want to randomize, you go on sorting criteria, you put everything like here, but in an ideal world, I put something like here, but we do not have many topics, so we can't really be picky. If we had more, it would show better this effect. So we go to view, outstanding, and here you can see that the priorities are indeed a little bit mixed up. Not much, to be honest, but a little bit. So what if we wanted to, this is if you want to sort with your criteria out of the sorting criteria window, because yes. Let's say I want more topics than items, but in order of priority.
Okay, so let me do this on at my end. Since I have this well prioritized now, since I have everything well prioritized as how he wanted to have, this is how it looks now. Now, just for being extremely to the point, let me shift this to the number 8. Nice. So if I go to my outstanding, oh yeah, nothing is outstanding, no worries. I can just go to the all. Nice. So now it's the same, it's ordered. The 100% is because it's the dismissed one, and then everything is by order. Boom. Super cool. Then I will force to make it outstanding. Now, if I go to outstanding queue, same, it's by order. The difference is that I don't have the concept because the concept is dismissed. So this is what Fall wanted to achieve, more or less. Oh, now I see that one is off, but yeah, no worries. Now if I go, the sorting criteria. Oh, okay, it's because so one was off because I had randomness already. Yeah, my mistake. So now it's absolutely none. So now the outstanding looks like this. 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. I'm still interleaving. So now let me just go only items first. Here to go. I'm seeing this by order. That is set prioritized. And now I will just do I do random just for topics. Let's see what happens. It's only 4, so I mean, there's not much permutations we can have here. But you see that start with the highest, then with the actual lowest, the 4th, the 2nd, and the 3rd. And now I can do the same with items. And now look at that. 50, I have the first. No, that's the second one. It's the number 2, but was the first. 3, 4, and 1. Look at this sequence. It's exactly the same. Because it's random. Could be. You can click here, sort now, or just here as well. And now I have a different order. But since it's only 4 positions, there are not many combinations possible. Could be that if you randomize this, it's quite similar already. I hope you get a more clear point with my take. Oh, it looks messed up, right? No worries. Boom, filter this one out. Hey, there's a missing, sorry about that. Okay, let me filter the concept. And now again, process browser, priority, adjust, and it will be position 1 to position number 9. Sorry, 8. Now they're again in the very strict order. Look at the first one. How so? So this is number 8. I want it to be 5th. Now it's the 5th. Nice. 6, 7, and 8. Solved. It is exactly as how I want it to be. Every position, it's 12.5% of the queue. And priorities, it's the concept, is the root element. It is 100%. And it's not there, it's not in the outstanding queue. But hey, what happens here? Why is this order? It's because any change I did is not retroactive. So if I really want to be sorted now, in the sorting criteria, I have to modify it. It's no, now use all of the priority, no fuzziness, and sort now. And now if we go back to outstanding, here you go. Hey, it's not exactly the same. Yes, because I start with items, then topics. It's still prioritized, so within the items are prioritized like this in sequence. So if I want to keep this, it's as easy as going back to the sorting criteria and changing this, the first one, proportion to topics, to the other extreme, to the right. So now it is an exact priority order. This is what Fal wanted to do. It's a lot easier to do. All you need to do is process the browser, priority, adjust. You put the position. Don't use the percentage here. And click this if it's checked, and check that, just in proportion. The first one and the number of elements. In this case, there are 8. Then position 8. As easy as that. That's all what he was missing. There's no need to go one by one and then Alt P, that position will be like this. He don't even use the position, but the percentage, all of that. That's why he got all of those unwanted positions. So in fact, it's a lot easier than it looks. It's just it's not familiar enough with Supermemo regarding priorities.
And this is pretty much what you get. This is probably because there is still some grade of randomization. It's not always perfect.
No, there is not. It's because the priorities are not well set, are not in sequence.
No, there is not degree of randomization, so it should give us... Okay, this is a perfect order right now.
No, it's not the perfect order. It's not exactly. Do you know why? Because what he wanted to have is first the four items, A, B, C, D, and then the items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. He's not having that. He has one topic, the topic A, then the next one, remember that the step is 12.5%, is the first element. So instead of this order, he has A1, B2, C3, D4 in his priority queue. So what he so the order of priority is kept within the element type, But in the absolute queue, it's not, because it's not splitting by the type.
So sometimes it's a little bit off, but
No, it's never off. It's never off. Remember, it's because he did something else. He did something different of what he thought he was doing. It is mathematical. The priorities are followed religiously by the number.
not too much. Like this is how you sort all your topics in a randomized way. Now we're gonna see this in my main collection. Okay.
Finally, his genuine collection. He always uses dummy collections and so on. This will be a lot more meaningful, the priorities.
Okay, this is my main collection, and now I'm gonna show you like if you go on outstanding, I have a lot of stuff here. So you can see I mixed up my topics and my items, right? But they're not really perfectly based on the priorities. Why is that? And why are my windows acting funny?
Because of the layout. You may have opened a window, a Supermemo window, that is not saved on this layout. And precisely this window, I think, is the browser window. So what happened is that Supermemo will temporarily shift to the browser layout. If you haven't customized the browser layout, it will look terrible like this.
It's really perfectly based on the priorities. Why is that? And why are my windows sorting criteria? And this is how my sorting criteria looks right now, because my priorities are not that straight.
Exactly. He is doing this for the school system, medical school in his case. That means it's a luxury. Yeah, you can set priorities, but those priorities won't be reflecting your priority, will be reflecting the exam priority. And even that, you cannot spend time setting priorities because you're so short in time and you rely on subsets anyways. You're not doing incremental reading. So makes sense that you have more randomness.
For the moment. So if I did something like this and maybe less topics, I'd say, it would look more like...
Okay, here's something to take into account. I will check if I can see in his stats window the priority protection. But here I'm inclined to think that he has a higher priority protection for items. Starts at 40%. But for topics, it's a lot lower, like 0.6%. So not even 1% of the priority is covered for topics. That doesn't mean that, oh wow, so random, right? That from 51 I go to 0.6. No, because this is split for items and for topics. And basically because he's using this for the exams, he keeps doing the outstanding queue for items. So perhaps he doesn't finish all of the queue, but most of that is always covered. Long story short, most of the outstanding queue are for topics, not items. That's why you have this great mismatch of priorities. Stays the same. The first element in the outstanding queue, the highest priority for items, this one, 40%. The highest from the topic, 0.6, is the same, the first one. If the priority protection were more or less the same for topics and items, you won't see that drastic change. And also because the sorting criteria, he has a lot of items per topic. And he doesn't have enough outstanding items. So with just 2 topics, he finishes all of the outstanding items.
This, but it's not really ordered based on priorities. So you have
Okay, it was not the case because he had the scroll. Even though what he said is the same. Starts at 3 with a few hundred, he gets to the 40%, and then there are no more items. And for topics, is a lot higher, exactly the same. The only outlier here, we could say, is this one, 44. That is an item. And this 28, kind of ish. This 34, again. And it's the one that is like random.
your random element, obviously. Not many randoms element in terms.
This 59, again. Yeah, you see the pattern, right? That time to time you get one element that has a priority range that, hey, you shouldn't be here. Oh yeah, it's because I'm adding some randomness. It's actually desired.
Term of topics, because you have many less topics at the moment interspersed, but you will get
Interleaved.
more randomity here, and that's it. Like, this is pretty much everything you need to know about the priority queue.
I fully disagree with that statement.
My big advice is try not.
When should I prioritize? When should I change the priority? During the repetition? After the repetition? It's each repetition? By how much should I change the priority? Should I take into consideration the priority protection when setting priorities? Many things. That's not everything you need to know. What effect has the priority on the element? In the, I don't know, the next interval? If it's postponed, has some weight, has a meaningful change. There are many things, fundamental things that you should know for priorities in the beginner state.
To mess up at the beginning. There are a little. I'll show you. Like, when you make extracts, there is a quick way to set the priority of your extract, which is Alt Shift X, and you can set the priority of.
It's the same, more or less, as Alt X, then Alt left to navigate to the extract you just created, and then Alt P is a shortcut for this.
Of your extract. So let's say I would like 20 on this and see that tomorrow. And this is it. This is the color my extracts are. This is it. This is, and
He did two things in one. The priority in the interval. Again, this is something you should know how this affects priorities. I'm not even sure if he's aware, by the way. I will need to use a backup of my genuine collection for this. I cannot use it on just 8 elements. So let's do something. Let's see what pops. Nice. Okay, I started a subset review. So look at that. It's 33.2%. Nice. Then let's say that I make an extract. If I only do an extract, the priority will be similar. 33.27 is, oh, it's still 5% jump. Look at the position, 30,000. and 16,000, it's 3,000 positions. It's quite decent, but more or less will be kind of similar. Nice. If now I do the same thing with the Shift Alt X, I get to choose. Hey, that will be the priority that will be set, as I just did. But I have an opportunity to override it, and I will say, no, it's much lower, 60. But I won't change the interval, just the percentage. Let's see what happened. It's 60, and in just one day. Nice. Now let me do the repetition, the genuine repetition. In this case, it's 2 years. If now I set a different interval, it's already quite high, about 800 days. Let's put it 1000. Let's put it round. Let's check the priority. 35.1% or 17,232. Hey, what happened here? Because I changed the interval, this already affected the priority as a consequence. So even if I can also do it in this screen, by the way. Even if I only change the interval, not the priority, look, 20,553. Hey, what happened here? Has not changed. Let me increase it like a big time. Hey, it's not changing. It's 6 years. So if you do it in this window, it doesn't affect. If you do it elsewhere with Ctrl J, Ctrl Shift R, whatever, any other feature, by just postponing this or changing the date, outstanding date, affects the priority. So yeah, you should know what actions actually modify the priority. Because if you set this to very long feature, the priority can be changed dramatically, like to 20, to 80, or even 100, if you really go crazy high interval.
See that tomorrow. And this is it. This is the color my extracts are pink. And that's it. So be careful. Remember, you can't learn everything. And if you can't learn everything, you have to prioritize and to choose your own material. Do not commit the mistake of trying to read an entire book for your exam. Try to always prioritize. Start from your questions. If you
Again, he's focusing like Supermemo is just a tool for exams, which is not.
have the questions of your exams, start from those, reconstruct incrementally, and we will see how in another video. Questions, internet, notes, books. That's how you move, because the material on the internet is books.
What?
That's how you move, because
That's how you move? Questions, internet, notes, and books.
the material on the internet is much more the material.
Okay, so I could have a question. How peyotes works in Supermemo, or without going that meta, how the heart works, let's say, or the anatomy of the heart, to make something more medical related. I have this question. Then I browse the internet for articles, books, textbooks. Now I can also add artificial intelligence. In the school system, you could have the notes that you take on the class. And and then the books that are like in the physical medium as well. Yeah.
Notes, books. That's how you move, because the material on the internet.
Not necessarily. Everyone has their own flow. But basically, you start with a question. You will get information that answers or could answer this question, and you will iterate on those, processing those sources, regardless where they are from or the format they are. Other than that, I don't see much of this. And those sources will be prioritized, not just the starting point of an article or a book, that every extract you will do will also have a priority. Every card that you do from the extract will also have a priority. And even this card, during the live, the repetitions you will do across time, it may change priorities as well.
Note is much more clean and precise than your notes, so I would prioritize the internet material to rebuild the answer of a question you don't know the answer to. So that's it. Have fun with Supermemo and see you in the next video.
See you incrementally. So yeah, basically he knows more or less that priorities are super important. He had, let's say, an skewed view because he's using Supermemo for a flow that is not designed for. And my guess is that he contributed to his perspective. He doesn't fully understand priorities. One thing is how to prioritize well. That is the hardest skill. It's a soft skill, by the way. And the other is how to understand how priorities work in Supermemo. Oh yeah, that this feature actually modifies the priority, by how much, and all of those. The hard skills, how Supermemo is implemented. There are some comments. Yeah, I think the reason the sorting was not working as you expected was because you said, well, I already mentioned that. I thought this will lead to more. Yeah, it's sad. How many views? 1700 views. This is, I only have like 2 or 3 videos in this range or above this range. So they get a lot more views, and it's kind of sad, or I mean, it's not the right word, but it's not the best video, to be honest. So it's a good introduction, but he didn't understand this that I mentioned, and it gives you like the impression that it's more complex than it actually is. And even though there was not much discussion either. At least I add my 2 cents. Fully justifying and exemplifying everything. And when I do a course, it will be straight to the point, a lot shorter, with more meaningful details. So that will be the last video that I react from James, that I react from Fowl. What's coming is the entire course, his course, that I will chunk down with many more videos before I do my own course. So nothing more to add today, and see you incrementally. Nothing more to add today, and see you incrementally. Hope this has been useful. Nothing more to add today, and see you incrementally.